I've been asked several times, why do I choose to live the kind of life I do? I choose to live the kind of life I do because I genuinely believe that it is every human's responsibility to bring about awareness through different mediums of education, not only to the society we come from, but also to the society we are living in. Now, the area that I am in is known as Jawai Bandh. It's equidistant from Jodhpur and Udaipur towards south of Rajasthan. Mount Abu is about 90 kilometers from us, which makes this area into a very unique biodiversity. The Aravali range is running for about 1,000-1,200 kilometers all the way from the tip of Gujarat, bordering Rajasthan, to Delhi. Aravali has different phases, the leeward and the windward side, and we are on the leeward side. About 80 years ago, this area was a floodland, and my great-grandfather, Maharaj Umed Singh Sahab, decided to make this area, which was a natural water catchment, into a dam. It is the largest man-made dam in western Rajasthan, supplying water to over 3 districts, including Jodhpur. Nowadays, the water mainly goes for industrial use to Pali, as well as several agriculture lands throughout this region, from Pali to Jalore into bordering Jodhpur. Now, what happened when the dam was made was that the river that feeds this area, which is a tributary to the Luni River, was blocked naturally on 3 sides, keeping water and allowing water to overflow into the Poshalia Nadi at about 62 feet. In return, a lot of areas, which is a known fact because of dam, suffer. Now, to do a positive, we have to take certain harsh decisions, which was taken. And my great-grandfather was a very, very far-sighted man. He did not see this dam getting constructed and complete because he died at a very young age. But the people of this area took it on to themselves with, of course, the Indian government, and they completed the dam and the canal. And the catchment of water started to feed these areas, which took them out of a lot of misery. But in return, there were areas like Bhaiswada that started to suffer. But every time there is overflow, there is great agriculture and there's bumper crop. So that's a positive. Now, a lot of migratory species have started to come into this area over the past several hundred years, and they've made this into their home. From the grey-lag goose to the bar-headed geese to the flamingo, a lot of different kind of raptors. We get vultures. So this area has got a very unique landscape made out of igneous metamorphic granite. And as we all know that maximum amount of quartz is found, about 1/4 of earth is made out of quartz. Now, a lot of mining is happening in this area with the help of the tribals, the Raika, as well as a lot of other locals. We stood up against the mining lobby with the help of the Indian government in this area. We had children getting educated. We had old men and women who started off the Chipko Godward movement, which in return spread a lot of awareness of the importance of sensitive wildlife. Now, wildlife anywhere on this planet is very, very psychologically sensitive. And human population and encroachment of human beings on this land, anywhere, be it Jawai or even the Amazon, is putting a lot of pressure onto our ecosystem. Now, what am I doing here? Apart from spreading awareness of the importance of sensitive wildlife watching as responsible travelers, I'm also trying to get in medical help for people, mainly people with old age problems, pregnant women for hygiene and sanitation, men for prostate. So there is a level of trust that starts getting created. From 2006, I remember very clearly when I came here, I realized that I have to do something. So nearly about after 10, 12 years of spending time here, I have decided that I am going to be dedicating, and I have dedicated my entire life towards spreading awareness for indigenous species of flora and fauna amongst the tribals and locals. And this is because if the local is educated about why is it important for him to facilitate areas of indigenous advantage, they come to realize that it's not only for income that they do it, they also do it for their livelihood and well-being. Now, we have herdsmen here who have grazing lands. We are facing a huge problem when it comes to movement of animals such as the camel that cannot they cannot cross borders to get fodder. So the Raika community, that's the herdsman, camel herdsman, is selling off his camels, and camels are a natural way of survival for this area, all of Rajasthan, all of Western Rajasthan. What we are trying to do is we are trying to grow or bring back certain plants of this area to spread all throughout the forest and make this forest into what it used to be 80, 90 years ago. There is, of course, the western corridor of the railways, which the work we cannot stop because that is very, very important. Apart from that, we also have mega highways running across national parks. Now, this area is again very interesting because it is all revenue land, and it's like a community reserve where people have taken it on themselves so to safeguard the best interest of this area through temples, shrines and orans. Now, oran is an area of land where a community promises that they're not going to cut any trees and they are going to grow as much as they can to make the oran larger. We've got certain patches of these orans running across Jawai and Beda, and again, I mean, we are surrounded with 3 national parks. You've got the wildlife sanctuary of Kumbhalgarh, we've got Ranakpur as well as Mount Abu Wildlife Sanctuary. So there's a lot of animal movement that's taking place. A lot of males travel from these 3 different sanctuaries into Jawai because it's a pocket, and predominantly it is a female dominated area because of the rocks and crevices. So it's easy for them to breed and keep their cubs safe. We are also facing a high alert problem with encroachment of a lot of safari jeeps coming into very, very sensitive areas, very sensitive pockets actually. 8 kilometers by 4 kilometers, you'd understand that is very, very small. We've got sloth bear concentration. Now, sloth bears are highly aggressive creatures, and every 10 to 15 days, there are tribals who are getting mauled by sloth bears. Now, if safari jeeps come in and people for footage go ahead to actually put camera traps and position themselves at wee hours in the morning and roam around at night, this some way or the other is adding pressure because every area has got a carrying capacity of human beings, carrying capacity of cars, carrying capacity of animals. I mean, for example, the Asian steppe wildcat, which is again highly endangered, that's the desert cat, they start breeding with the domestic cat. Now, there are certain pockets in Jawai and in Jalore that are holding this particular species of the small cat, the Asian steppe wildcat, and giving them home. Now, Asian steppe wildcat would have a territory of about anything between 1 to 3 square kilometers between male and female. They will be in the rocky savanna, and they are going to go to, for food, they will go to areas where there are field mice or jards. Field mice and jards dig their burrows in areas that best suit them. Now, some of them do go into farming lands, but due to tilting of land, their homes get destroyed. Now, I'm not saying agriculture should be stopped because of this. No, we need agriculture to survive. What I'm implying is, which a lot of people have started to do, is that they have started to leave about a foot of area that they do not cultivate around their fields, which facilitates homes for these smaller mice. In return, giving food to the cat. And the leopard also will survive on anything it finds. I mean, from bugs to mice to peacocks, langurs, and of course livestock and at times larger prey. Now, natural fences are again very, very important. People are getting done with natural fences, investing a lot of money and making artificial fences which are taking away homes of birds, which are taking away homes of the smaller creatures that take shelter in these areas. It is important that every person gets to realize how important the food chain is. And well, they say that the human being is not a part of the food chain, but for me, because I live in the wild, I will still consider the human being to be a part of the food chain. If you are on foot and you happen to have an encounter with the sloth bear, which is going to maul you, because I've been witness to certain instances of tribal people who've been mauled by these sloth bears. And mainly they get mauled because they get startled. So if they are startled, instead of bolting, they're going to come into you, because that's their first instinct, to safeguard the best interest of their young. And if you do happen to meet a mother with cubs, boy, I mean, God save you. She's going to rip you apart, because they can climb trees, they can run down a hill faster than you can, they can climb up a hill faster than you can. So there is very little you can do apart from having luck on your side, or probably your wits about, which is a 1% chance. And I've learned this through an experience my father went through. He nearly got mauled by a bear, but his 60 years of experience kicked in and he roared into its ear. So that was a millisecond of loose grip that he got. And now when we hear stories like this, we as human beings get very enticed to want to be in situations like this, because we are getting influenced by social media all the time. There is so much pressure on us to actually have an image out there that makes us look like wildlifers. See, a true wildlifer will never talk. For example, Mowgli. Mowgli was not wild, he was not man. He was not accepted by his people, he was not accepted by the king of the jungle. Sher Khan never accepted him, and Sher Khan is right. There is no business of man in the wild. But what we can do is, we can act as barriers between man and wild. People who are sensitive should buy land, should open eco-friendly hotels or resorts or homestays, keeping carrying capacity of land in mind, and restrict certain areas for themselves. So if you do not trespass and go into certain areas yourself, you have the right to tell the next person not to. And if you start influencing people like that, now that is cool. What's cooler is when you don't talk about it. Now I'm getting this opportunity and I'm going to take this platform to actually address all the people out there who are looking for animals to click selfies with. Guys, don't be stupid. Because if just imagine for a split second that there is cat, big cat, or a tiger, or a leopard, or anything sitting behind me, and I'm sitting out here, and I want to take a selfie with that, my attention is towards the selfie. And I'm trying to take a selfie with that cat. And if I happen to tumble, I become potential prey. If I become potential prey, the cat is going to come towards me, making the cat in return into a man-eater, taking the cat's life from the cat, probably putting it into a bar prison for the rest of its life. Now that is not cool. Just for one selfie, you have not only put yourself into danger, but you've also put the wild animal into danger.